They called our store the ghetto Walmart. But the day Mr. Hendricks threatened to shut us down, I realized, some people don't just want you out. They want you erased. The ceiling fan groaned like it was begging for mercy, spinning just fast enough to push the smell of overripe plantains and cayenne-dusted beef patties through Baptiste's market. Malik wiped sweat off his forehead with the hem of his faded Haiti t-shirt, the one his mom had stitched back together 3 times. Outside, Brooklyn traffic blared, but inside, it was just the hum of the half-broken fridge and the click-clack of Lucy's calculator as she muttered in Kreyòl, "Deyemon, Genmon." Behind mountains there are more mountains. Then the bell jingled, not the happy ding of Miss Rosa buying ginger for her arthritis tea. This was the slow, heavy clang of leather loafers. Mr. Hendricks. "Lucille," he said, like her name was a joke. His eyes flicked over the chipped paint, the handwritten "Credit next week" sign near the register. "City says this place is a fire hazard. Wiring's prehistoric. Rent's due Friday, with the violation fines added." Malik's pencil froze mid-sketch, a solar panel design hidden under his algebra homework. He knew that tone, the one that meant, "I enjoy this." Lucy's back straightened, but her hands shook. "New prowl pie. We'll pay." Hendricks smirked, tapping a eviction notice against the counter. "Sure, just like last time." He glanced at Malik. "Kids should be out hustling, not doodling. My son's interning at Goldman Sachs. *16*. The unspoken unlike yours hung like smoke. The bell jingled again as he left. Malik's chest burned. He wanted to yell, "We're not trash!" But Lucy's face, the way she bit her lip raw, stopped him. Instead, he flipped his notebook shut. The sketch wasn't just a dream. It was a battery-powered generator, one that could cut their energy bills in half. If he could scavenge enough parts. School was worse. "Yo, Malik," Tyler sneered in homeroom, flicking his welfare lunch. "Form. Your mom's store take EBT for pencil money?" The class snickered. Even Miss Ruiz, usually his safe haven, was too busy grading to notice. Malik stared at his shoes, the duct-taped soles. Back in Port-au-Prince, his dad had engineered clean water systems for their neighborhood. "Genius doesn't need a label," he'd say. But here? Malik was just the quiet Haitian kid with the thrift store backpack. At lunch, he hid in the library, tweaking his designs. That's when he heard it, Ms. Ruiz arguing with the robotics coach. "Need diversity quotas?" Coach barked. "Diversity?" Miss Ruiz's voice dropped. "Malik Baptiste's designs could run this team, but you won't even look because he can't afford the $200 kit." Malik's stomach dropped. He slid his notebook into his bag. The coach's laugh followed him out. "Dream on, Ruiz." That night, Malik lay awake to the sound of Lucy crying through the thin wall. He pulled out his flashlight, adding to his sketch, a coil of copper wire, notes in Kreyòl. "Poo-papa," for Dad. Outside, Hendricks's Mercedes purred as it rolled past. Malik's fingers tightened around the pencil. They think we're small, but fire starts small too. They called my dream impossible, so I built it from impossible things. The junkyard smelled like forgotten metal and rain-soaked cardboard. Malik knelt beside a discarded car battery, carefully extracting copper wires with hands already marked by nights of work. Old Miss Rosa's nephew ran this lot and let him scavenge after hours. "Just don't let the security guard catch you, Poppy." A flashlight suddenly blinded him. Security guard. "Hands up, kid," the man barked. Malik froze, wires tangled around his wrists like vines. The guard kicked his backpack, sketches spilling across the wet concrete. "What's all this? Stealing parts?" Malik's pulse hammered. "Non muen?" "English." "It's for a generator," Malik whispered, pointing to his drawings. The guard squinted at pages filled with equations and notes in Kreyòl. Yeah? Looks like junk to me. He radioed his supervisor. Got a kid trespassing with wires. Says he's building something. Malik's chest tightened. Trespassing? For his father's designs? The guard's light burned his eyes as he snapped a photo of Malik's student ID. Miss Rosa's nephew came running. He's with me, just cleaning up scrap. The guard tossed the notebook back. Next time, I call the property owner. School became a battlefield. Tyler's crew had seen the security van. Look, Professor got busted dumpster diving. Malik's locker now bore scratched words. Stay in your lane. Miss Ruiz pressed an A+ test into his hands, her eyes saying what she couldn't aloud. Through the cafeteria window, Malik watched the robotics team high-fiving over their new equipment, the expensive kits his mom couldn't afford. Coach patted Tyler's shoulder. That's how leaders innovate. Malik's pencil snapped in his grip. He redrew his cooling system, the numbers sharp as knives. They get handed everything. I make something from nothing. Home offered no rest. The eviction notice glared from the fridge, pinned beneath a chipped magnet from Haiti. Malik wound electrical tape around cracked battery casings, repeating his father's words, Depuis nous là, nous là. As long as we're here, we're here. The store lights dimmed, again, as Miss Rosa sighed at her flickering tea kettle. This neighborhood's falling apart faster than my first marriage. Malik studied his nearly finished generator in the storage room. It could work, if, slam. Hendricks' palm hit the counter. Friday, Lucille, no extensions. That night, Malik fished a discarded tech magazine from the recycling. Between articles about the future of energy, he drafted a new circuit design in the margins. The moment of truth rain sheeted down as Malik hauled his creation to the roof, a patchwork masterpiece of salvaged wires, repurposed batteries, and solar cells from broken yard lights. If this fails, we lose the freezer, Lucy whispered, kissing her rosary. The night they stole my generator was the night I finally understood my father's words. They fear what they can't bury. The news segment aired at 6 p.m. By 6:15, Malik's phone buzzed with texts from numbers he didn't know. You on Channel 7? My abuela says, "You're a genius." Coach is pissed, LOL. Lucy pinned the printout of Malik's smiling face under their Haiti magnet, right over Hendricks' eviction notice. MIT called the store, she whispered, hands shaking around her coffee. They want your designs. Malik's chest swelled. He ran upstairs to tweak his generator's voltage regulator, only to find the rooftop empty, just severed cables dangling like broken veins. Miss Rosa's scream echoed from below. Ay Dios! The store! Malik raced down to find every light dead, the freezer's hum silent. Through the window he saw Hendricks across the street, talking to a man in a hard hat by the electrical box. Their laughter carried through the glass. School the next day was war. Tyler blocked Malik's locker. Heard your ghetto science project got scrapped. His breath smelled like mint gum and cruelty. Coach says you're banned from regionals. No junkyard junk. Miss Ruiz materialized like a shadow. Tyler, principal's office, now. As he sauntered off, she pressed a key into Malik's palm. Lab 3, after school, bring your notebook. Lab 3 smelled like burnt plastic and hope. Miss Ruiz booted up an ancient projector. Your father, Jean Baptiste. He spoke at MIT in 2008. The screen flickered to life. A younger Lucy in the audience, clapping as a broad-shouldered man demonstrated a wind turbine made from soda bottles. Malik's throat closed. He spoke at MIT. Keynoted. Miss Ruiz zoomed in on his father's name tag. Dr. Jean Baptiste, Port-au-Prince Engineering Collective. They archived his work, including this. She pulled up a schematic nearly identical to Malik's generator design. The date, 2009, 3 months before the earthquake. Hendricks was waiting at the store. City inspector found violations, he smirked, slapping a new notice on the counter. No homemade power systems. His eyes flicked to Lucy's MIT letter on the fridge. Funny how things work out. Malik's blood roared in his ears. He reached for his notebook. Crack. Hendricks' foot came down on his backpack. Oops. He ground his loafer into the fabric. Better hope your daddy's ghost can fix this too. That night, Malik lay awake hearing Lucy sob through the wall. He crept to the roof with his torn notebook. The moon illuminated one surviving sketch, his father's face, drawn from the MIT video. A rustle came from the fire escape. Miss Ruiz, holding a box. Coach's old robotics kit, she said, accidentally left behind. Inside, a brand new solar cell, still in its packaging. Malik's hands shook. Why? Miss Ruiz touched his father's sketch. Because genius doesn't disappear, it waits. Hendricks cut our power. What he didn't realize, he just lit a fire that would burn down everything he built. The MIT envelope trembled in Malik's hands, addressed to the estate of Dr. Jean Baptiste. Inside, an invitation to showcase his father's renewable energy designs, at the same conference where he'd spoken 15 years earlier. Miss Rosa's voice cut through his daze. Ay, todos los vecinos están sin luz. The entire block had gone dark. Malik ran outside to see Hendricks' contractor rolling up electrical cables from the sidewalk. City orders, the man muttered, avoiding Malik's eyes. Whole block's wiring needs upgrades. A crowd gathered as Mrs. Gonzalez's insulin cooled in her dead fridge. Old Mr. Kim clutched his oxygen machine's battery gauge. 2 hours left. Malik's fingers found the solar cell Miss Ruiz had given him, still in his pocket. Then the chant started. Bring the power back. We know it's you, Hendricks. The news van from Channel 7 screeched around the corner. Hendricks emerged from his office, face purple. This is legal maintenance. Any vandalism will... Malik stepped forward, MIT letter raised high. Legal like stealing my generator? Like erasing my father's work? The crowd quieted. My dad powered entire villages with scrap metal, and you? You can't even keep the lights on with all your money. The reporter's camera light hit Hendricks' flop sweat just right. Mr. Hendricks, multiple residents claim you've illegally disconnected power as retaliation. Care to comment? A new voice cut through. Dr. Kwame from MIT, pushing through the crowd. Malik Baptiste? We spoke yesterday. I've reviewed your father's patents and your improvements. He held up Malik's torn notebook. This is revolutionary work. Hendricks lunged for the contractor. Turn it back on now. The crowd erupted. Miss Rosa dragged out her battery-powered radio, blasting Respect by Aretha Franklin. Neighbors shared phone flashlights like candles. Malik watched Lucy sob into Miss Ruiz's shoulder as Dr. Kwame announced, MIT is funding Malik's generator project, with one condition. He turned to Hendricks. We install them here first. The camera caught Hendricks' exact moment of defeat, lips trembling, eyes darting to his silent Mercedes. Malik finally understood his father's words. Depai nula, nula. As long as we're here, we're here. They said I'd never belong at MIT, but the first time I walked into my father's old lab, the walls whispered, Welcome home. The moving van idled outside Baptiste's market, now sporting a gleaming new sign, Baptiste Energy Hub Community Power Solutions. Malik hugged Miss Rosa goodbye as she pressed a container of pastelitos into his hands. For when the cafeteria food tries to kill you, mijo. Lucy smoothed his tie, the same blue as Haiti's ocean. Papa would have, her voice broke. Malik finished for her. Asked why I'm wearing a noose around my neck. Their laughter mixed with tears. Cambridge was a different world. Malik's dorm mate, a legacy student named Chad, eyed his thrift store lamp. Dude, just ask your parents for a new one. At his first robotics lab, the professor frowned at his tool belt of salvage parts. We use professional equipment here, Mr. Baptiste. Then Dr. Quam appeared in the doorway. Actually, Jean-Baptiste used very similar tools to build Haiti's first solar grid. Malik, your father's workbench is waiting. The antique wooden desk in Lab 22 bore decades of coffee rings and one freshly carved inscription, DB 2024 beside JB 2008. Back in Brooklyn, the consequences unfolded. Hendricks Properties went into receivership after the code violation scandal. Tyler's family lost their luxury apartment. Hendricks was their landlord. Miss Ruiz launched a STEM program using Malik's curriculum. The Sunday before finals, Malik found Tyler mopping floors in his dorm. Guess the golden boy needed a job, Tyler muttered. Malik handed him the mop he'd dropped. My mom needs help at the energy hub. Pays better than this. Tyler's eyes widened. Why would you? Because Depi now la, nu la, Malik said. Look it up. Graduation day arrived. Lucy wore her church hat so big it blocked the view of 3 trustees. Dr. Kwame announced, the Baptiste Renewable Energy Prize, funded by MIT's first Haitian graduate. As Malik crossed the stage, his phone buzzed, a photo from Miss Ruiz. Tyler grinning beside Lucy at the Energy Hub's new wind turbine. The text read, he looked it up. Malik touched his father's watch beneath his gown. The quiet ones had roared. Winning changed everything, except the part where the world still expected me to fail. The Baptiste Energy Hub's grand opening should have been Malik's victory lap. Instead, he stood frozen as a Boston Globe reporter asked, as MIT's poster boy for diversity, do you worry you're taking opportunities from more qualified candidates? Back in Brooklyn, Lucy snapped off the radio broadcasting this interview. Fout bet sa yo. These fools. She stormed into the Energy Hub where Tyler, now her assistant manager, was training 3 neighborhood kids on solar panel maintenance. Malik's getting the same nonsense his father got, Lucy muttered, slamming drawers. No matter how high you climb, they always ask for your papers. Tyler surprised them both by speaking up. Then, we'll build higher. At MIT, the whispers grew louder. Lab partners forgot to include Malik on project emails. Professors praised his work with backhanded compliments. Remarkable progress for your background. Chad openly complained to the dean. Why does he get the NSF grant? My research is derivative, Dr. Quam finished, appearing suddenly. Unlike Mr. Baptiste's work replicating Caribbean energy grids in urban environments, which, Chad, is why the National Science Foundation funds it. That night, Malik lay awake staring at his father's old schematics. A sticky note in the corner read, when they bury you, grow roots. The roots grew in unexpected places. Miss Ruiz's STEM program produced its first scholarship winner. Maria Gonzalez, who'd stored insulin in Malik's first community fridge. Tyler began night classes at CUNY. Tutoring kids at the Energy Hub Hendricks' former properties became affordable housing with rooftop solar gardens. But when Malik flew home to celebrate, he found Lucy arguing with a suit from the power company. These community grids need regulation, the man insisted, flipping through permits. What if there's a blackout? Malik smiled. Then my neighbors will have lights because of us, not despite you. The final test came at the International Energy Summit. Malik's podium stood between MIT's president and a Tesla VP. As he adjusted his mic, he heard Chad whisper, "Diversity hire." The screen behind Malik lit up with live feeds from Port-au-Prince, where his father's old collective was installing Baptiste-designed turbines. Brooklyn, where Tyler high-fived kids monitoring energy outputs. MIT Lab 22, where Dr. Kwame held up Malik's battered notebook. Genius isn't grown in sterile labs, Malik began. It's forged where necessity meets scraps and makes miracles. The applause drowned out everything, even the sound of Chad's ego breaking. My father's last design could power a small city or destroy anyone who tried to control it. Now I understood why he died with a wrench in his hand. The email's subject line screamed urgency, JB Archive, urgent review. Malik nearly deleted it as spam until he spotted the Haitian flag emoji, the same one his father always doodled in margins. Inside, a scanned page of his father's notebook showing a revolutionary geothermal design with 3 chilling additions, a crude sketch of Hendrix' old company logo, Everbright Energy. The words, "They'll kill for this," in Kreyòl coordinates pointing to Cité Soleil. Port-au-Prince. Malik's hands shook as Dr. Kwame burst into his dorm. "Turn on C-SPAN." On screen, a Senate hearing featured Hendrix' former VP testifying, "Everbright owns all intellectual property from our deceased contractors. The design behind him? Malik's father's." Brooklyn had become a battleground. Lucy answered the Energy Hub's door to find inspectors demanding Malik's childhood notebooks. For patent verification, they claimed. Tyler, now sporting a CUNY engineering hoodie, blocked the stairs. "Funny how y'all never inspected when this place was a moldy bodega." Miss Ruiz arrived with her lawyer, snapping photos of their badges. "We'll keep these safe," she smiled, tapping her phone where the live stream already had 2K viewers. In Haiti, the truth waited. Malik stood in Cité Soleil's crumbling community center, where his father's old partner, Madame Pascal, pressed a rusted flash drive into his palm. Jean's last words, "Give this to my son when he's strong enough," she whispered. The drive contained video logs of Hendrix' men threatening his father's schematics for a hurricane-proof microgrid, a deed granting Malik ownership of his father's patents. Outside, motorcycle engines revved. Madame Pascal shoved Malik toward the back. "Everbright scouts, they watch this place." The trap sprung at MIT. Returning to campus, Malik found his dorm ransacked, except for one untouched item, a glossy Everbright brochure placed neatly on his pillow. "Join our diversity initiative." Inside, a handwritten note. "Your father refused to be reasonable too. P.S. How's Lucy's lease?" Malik did the math. Haiti trip = 3 days, hubs inspection = 2 days ago. Lucy's lease renewal = due tomorrow. He called home just as Lucy screamed, "Menu and call. They're back." The line went dead. "They came for my mother at 3 a.m., but they forgot. Brooklyn doesn't sleep." The Uber screeched to a halt 3 blocks from Baptiste Energy Hub. Malik's phone lit up with Tyler's 27th text. "Dude, these aren't inspectors. They got guns and bolt cutters. We're in basement W, kids. Your dad's old battery bank is our only power." A live stream notification popped up. Ms. Ruiz's Facebook showed 5 men in Everbright polos circling the building. One kicked the solar-powered security cam. The feed cut out. Malik dialed 911, then stopped. Last time cops came, they took Hendrix's side. He called Dr. Kwame instead. "MIT Legal is filing an injunction now," Kwame panted, car engine roaring behind him. "But you need eyes on gunshots, not bullets." Tyler firing Malik's homemade potato cannon from the roof. The crowd outside cheered as industrial-strength glue rained down, coating Everbright's SUVs in sticky foam. Inside the basement stronghold, Lucy crouched over Maria Gonzalez, 16, diabetic, checking her insulin cooler's temperature. "Battery at 35%. If it dips below freezing, got it, Tyler cut in, rewiring car batteries to the solar charger. His hands shook. Malik, your dad's blueprints show a blackout mode. What's that? Malik zoomed in on his phone photo of the schematics. There, in his father's cramped writing, root negative load through copper pipes equal sign EMP pulse, short range. Maria gasped. You'd fry every phone, camera, drone within a block. Also, our medical devices. The adults exchanged glances. Lucy touched her rosary. Fais ça ou dois faire. Do what you must. The siege escalates. Everbright's team brought a hydraulic ram for the door. The live stream, now on 3 networks, showed their CEO screaming, "We're recovering stolen IP. That battery tech is ours." Then, a new voice. "Actually, it's mine." Dr. Quam emerged from an MIT van waving Haitian court documents. John Baptiste's patents were never transferred. These are his son's designs, improved with our... Psst. Every light within a block died as Malik flipped the EMP switch. In the sudden dark, 3 things happened. Everbright's cameras died mid-live stream. Maria's insulin cooler kept running. Tyler's lead-shielded mod NYPD helicopters finally arrived. Spotlights revealing Everbright's ram at the door. The aftermath. By dawn, Everbright's CEO was in cuffs. Fraud, trespassing, endangerment. Reporters swarmed as Malik carried Maria to the ambulance, her insulin safe. "How'd you shield the medicine?" CNN asked. Tyler grinned, arm slung over Malik. "We used the CEO's own Faraday cage patent against him. Poetic, right?" Miss Ruiz quietly recorded every word, already drafting next semester's Ethics in Engineering curriculum. The soil of Cité Soleil still smelled like my father, engine grease, strong coffee, and the salt of unfinished dreams. The gas explosion report was a lie. Malik knelt in the rubble of Madame Pascal's home, fingers brushing a half-melted flash drive fused to a teacup, the same floral pattern as his mother's wedding china. A shadow fell across him. Lucien, his father's old apprentice, now with a scar where his smile dimple used to be. They took her to silence the truth, but the earth remembers. He pressed a rusted key into Malik's palm. Your father's workshop, beneath the mango tree. Port-au-Prince pulsed with hidden stories. Everbright's solar charity signs dotted every slum, yet blackouts worsened. Dr. Kwame's MIT team found mercury in soil samples. From dumped batteries, Malik's childhood home now housed an Everbright training center. Lucien led him to a gnarled tree behind the ruins. The key unlocked a hatch beneath roots. The air inside smelled like 2009. His father's last workspace stood frozen in time. A geothermal prototype humming softly after 15 years, maps showing Haiti's untapped energy potential. A ledger with Hendrix's signature approving toxic dumping. Malik's headlamp caught something glinting. Madame Pascal's glasses, discarded near fresh boot prints. The trap sprung at dawn. Everbright's white trucks rolled into Cité Soleil as Malik uploaded his father's files. The CEO himself stepped out, flanked by aid workers with rifles. "Mr. Baptiste, here to donate your designs to?" He gestured to cowering locals. "We bring light. You bring lawsuits?" Malik activated the live stream. "You bring mercury and blackouts. But today..." The ground rumbled. From the workshop behind him, 15 years of stored geothermal energy surged through jury-rigged cables. Every Everbright solar panel in the slum exploded in a cascade of sparks. The CEO's face went slack. "That's impossible." "None," Lucien corrected. "That's John Baptiste." The reckoning. By noon, Haitian officials sealed Everbright's ports. Dr. Kwame broadcast the mercury findings worldwide. Madame Pascal was found alive, locked in an Everbright warehouse. As Malik prepared to leave, Lucien handed him a dented thermos. Your father's last coffee cup. He'd want you to have it. Inside, a single mango seed, dried but viable. The Senate hearing room smelled like lemon polish and lies. I placed my father's thermos on the witness table, and for the first time, Washington trembled before a mango seed. The thermos sat between Malik and the ever-bright CEO, its dents catching the C-SPAN camera lights. Senator Morales, DFL, slid a photo across the table. Hendricks in 2009 shaking hands with Everbright's founder over Haiti mining rights. Mr. CEO, explain this Mercury report from Dr. Baptiste's * 2008 * field notes. A drop of sweat slid down the CEO's temple. We inherited. Malik clicked his pen. The screens behind them lit up with Lucy and Tyler live from Brooklyn, unveiling the Baptiste Pascal community grid, powered by his father's geothermal design. Fully operational, Tyler announced, grinning as neighborhood kids high-fived. Zero emissions, zero corporate control. The blowback was swift. Everbright's stock plummeted 63% by lunch. Hendricks' plea deal collapsed when Haitian officials extradited him. Dr. Kwam announced MIT's reparative engineering program, naming Malik its youngest ever advisor. But as reporters swarmed, Malik slipped away to the National Mall. Lucien waited by the Haiti Memorial, holding a sapling pot. 3 months from seed, he said, placing the young mango tree in Malik's hands. Like your father's ideas. They just needed good soil. Epilogue. 5 years later, the camera panned across, Port-au-Prince's first student-built power grid, buzzing under Madame Pascal's watch. Tyler's NYC engineering firm training formerly incarcerated teens Dr. Kwame and Senator Morales, signing the Baptiste Accords on climate debt then. A close-up of Malik's MIT desk. His father's thermos held pencils now. Next to it, a framed photo. Lucy smiling under solar panels in Cité Soleil, the fully grown mango tree shading her lap. The caption read, Depuis nous là. As long as we're here, fade to black. At its heart, this story reminds us that justice and dignity are not given. They are claimed, nurtured, and defended by those who refuse to stay silent. Malik's journey teaches us that prejudice and systemic injustice thrive in the shadows of apathy, but they crumble when met with courage, community, and unshakable self-worth. True change begins when we recognize our own power, not just to endure but to rebuild, to uplift, and to leave a legacy that outlasts the struggles we face. Whether it's standing up to corporate greed, breaking cycles of discrimination, or simply refusing to let others define our potential, every act of resistance plants a seed. And as Malik's story shows, even the smallest seed, whether a mango pit, a sketch in a notebook, or a single truth spoken aloud, can grow into something that shelters generations. To everyone who's ever felt unseen or underestimated, your voice matters. Your story is not over. And as long as you're here, rooted, resilient, and capable of extraordinary growth. If this story resonated with you, let us know in the comments. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to choose between silence and standing up? Hit the like button to honor those who fight for justice, and subscribe for more stories that challenge, inspire, and remind us of our shared humanity. Wherever you are today, may you find the courage to plant your seeds and the faith to watch them rise. After every storm, there's sunlight, and it's yours to grow toward.